food, sex, and death.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Food, Sex, and Death. As always, I am Colin Bohannon with my co-host live here in the French Quarter, New Orleans, Louisiana. With me, I've got Lefty Lucy.
Bienvenue.
Gross. I've got Mike Polino.
I hate your dog and probably your baby.
And I got the Pooch. Woo! All right. See, his was at least fucking positive. You know what I mean? Both of you guys.
I know. She's making up words.
Hey, it's Bastille Day in 2 days, you guys. I'm just getting in
Also
the spirit.
known as Con Air Day.
We're in French
We're going right
Quarter.
into the Nicolas Cage today. All
What
right,
is
guys?
Bastille Day?
Bastille Day is 4th of July for the French.
It's the day when all those convicts stole that air transport and Nicolas Cage saved the day.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Also, the guy from the movie with the 5 things with the records. What's his name?
5 things with the record.
Yeah,
John Cusack.
Yeah, there it is. Top 5
High Fidelity.
with the records.
High Fidelity, yeah.
John Cusack.
I was like,
He-
Danny Trejo? What the fuck are you talking about?
reference, you guys.
Danny Trejo was not helping anything. They call me Johnny 300 if they knew.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he raped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like most Nicolas Cage roles, like he does not stand for violence against women.
You do not.
treat women like that. Yeah.
Speaking of women, so Facebook, right? That's a thing. Everybody's aware of it.
Yes, it is.
Social networking platform.
So today I got this one of those like, hey, remember fucking 5 years ago when this shit happened? Things. And
Remember when you had hair and were happy? Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Not you. I mean, it happens to me. I'm talking from my point of view.
I don't remember. I remember having hair. I don't
right.
remember being happy.
All right.
That's
I remembered having less hair and being happy, which is why mine's short again.
yeah. So I got one of those like, hey, you guys remember a few years ago, Colin, when this shit happened? And the memory today was about the first time I met Polino's mom, except I didn't know it was his mom.
Chicka-bow.
One night doing some drinking, right? And I it's like 4:00 in the morning, you know, the bar is closed down, and she had been like cleaning all night, and she had like sat down to like rest and fallen asleep on one of like the booths, right? And I go in and I don't know that she's there, and I walk by and I trip over her. I don't know that it's her. I think it's one of the other girls that was working for Polino at the time. And I trip over her, and I'm like, oh shit, sorry. And they're like, Colin, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to get my dick wet. Where are the condoms? What'd you do with the condoms? And she's like, I don't know. I think they're over there. And, because Polino is a classy fella, so there was always like a fishbowl
Always
for a
practice
condom.
safe sex, you know?
So I go, I grab a condom, leave with the lady. The next day I come back, and his mother's like, hey, did you get your dick wet last night? And I was like, how'd you know about that? She goes, because you kicked me and said, hey, I'm going to get my dick wet. Where are the condoms? And I was like, oh.
A word?
I didn't know that was you. My bad.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Oh, Colin. There was one topic we covered last week that I would love to hear your story on that we didn't
Oh,
get.
yeah.
We talked about first times. Like worst first experiences. Not necessarily your first time, but like, what is your worst sexual experience?
Worst sexual experience? Like in what way?
Well, like I told a
Anyway.
story about a dude starting to fuck me and then telling me that he didn't actually want to, and he had felt peer pressure to do it, and he'd left. One of my notes here says failed threesomes.
And Mike and Colin blush.
I don't know if I have it in me to do this today.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme of that's kind of the theme of this. It's like, I don't think I have it in me to do this today.
Exactly, failed threesomes. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a problem. Worst first times or whatever.
Yeah.
My ex that I lived with, we were together for like almost 4 years or whatever in Chicago. It was like the second time that we had sex. It was like we were mid coitus, and like she was like about to come, and then like I like slipped out, and she was like, "What the fuck? I was right there, right?" And then later on in that exact same session, I was then about to come and like moved or whatever. And then I was just like, oh my God, just. Well, that's about as bad as it gets. We can only fucking move up from here, right? Like it can only get better from here. We pretty much just buried the worst. Like we nailed the worst possible sexual situation where like for both of us, you know? So,
I feel like I've had that conversation once or twice. Where like, hey, so that was not my best effort, and I hope it wasn't yours either. And like, oh yeah, I was worried that it wasn't. No. So we could just call that a mulligan, try it again in the morning? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Do over.
Yeah.
There was one time I was at Polino's house, and there was a lady. We were out drinking all night, and she was like, I've got a bunch of blow. And we were like, cool, right? So we're all doing blow, and she's like, I would like to fuck both of you. What do you guys think about that? And we were like, word. You know, like,
I have no shame.
We're like fooling around, but then we're also drinking and, you know, doing blow and stuff, right? And then at some point, Polino's like, yo, I've got this Viagra. We should split it. Because, you know, we've been doing blow, whatever. So I'm
What
like,
a sweet bro moment.
word.
Yeah.
So we,
Aw.
you know,
Caring
so we
friend.
split this Viagra, and we're fucking drinking.
It gets worse.
Knob Creek Rye. Bad things happen with Knob Creek Rye.
Never drinking that shit again.
So then we're, you know, we're hanging out, we're making out, we're fooling around, fine, right? The Viagra like really starts to kick in. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And I'm like, cool. I'm gonna go outside, smoke a cigarette. I go outside. She's in the bathroom, right? I am shirtless in my jeans and have no shoes on, and it's fucking like early March. So in Chicago, and it is fucking cold. And there's still snow on the ground, and it sucks, right? Go outside, fucking lock myself out of the house. She comes back into the room. They start going at it. I'm pounding on the door. No one fucking answers because
And
they're
they're
like,
pounding on something else.
yeah. And I'm like, fucking open the door.
Was there music playing, or was
No.
Con Air on?
I'm sure it was.
Could have been.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm like, fuck. And I'm freezing. I have no shoes on. And a fucking rock hard boner. And no shirt.
I thought Colin was like, this is too weird, I'm dipping, and just left because I'm fucking annihilated. You
Right.
know?
But in reality, I just get locked out. So then I just go out to the street to try to fucking flag down a cab.
And I'm like, so like, I roll over sweaty. I'm like, whatever, Colin, you dipped, whatever, you know, and I look at my phone, it's like 19 missed calls.
Yeah, exactly.
And a text like, hey man, you know how hard it is to hail a cab in the snow when you're shirtless, shoeless, and got a fucking rock hard dick? I fucking hate you.
He's like, cool. That was the third time in my life that I've ever taken a Viagra or like a Cialis, something of that effect. All three times, never ended up having sex. All three times ended up being like, what the fuck? Just like a rock hard boner, and just being like, well, like, now what do I do?
Anybody need some cocktails muddled? You want mojitos?
The other two times, it was just me and a lady. There wasn't a third party there. But
Jesus.
we started fooling around, and then she was like, just so you know, I fucked Mike yesterday. And I was like, who the fuck is Mike? I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. And she was like, you know what? I can't do this. And I was like, okay, well, you gave me a Viagra. You were like, someone left this at my place. It'd be fun if you take this. And I was like, yeah, word. And then you went to sleep, and you know what I mean? And then the first time I took one, went home with this girl, and then nothing ended up happening. And then I got in a cab and went home. So I'm 0 for 3 using...
You're like the Buffalo Bills of Viagra.
Scott Norwood.
Is that a
Wide
sports
left.
reference?
Yeah, so in
Wide
like
left.
the 90s when we were kids, the Buffalo Bills made the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, but lost
Four.
every single time.
4 years
was
in
it
a row.
4? Yeah.
Yep.
Because I remember, like, as a kid, I thought they were just always... I thought it was like the Super Bowl was you played
Featuring
the Buffalo
Buffalo
Bills.
Bills.
Like, I think because I was too... Like, I also wasn't a sports kid.
So I have decided that I'm never making a mix for a guy I like ever again.
Because it ruins all the songs for you afterwards?
Because okay, so there's this myth in knitting culture that if you knit someone you care about a sweater, you're gonna break up. Every single time I make a mix for a guy I like, right when I put the finishing touches on it, he breaks up with me. I've had so many mixes that I haven't been able to share with the person I made it for. And there's just like this like music out in the ether, going nowhere for no one.
Do you ever recycle it? Maybe like some of them might be like, oh, because you probably have a type.
No,
to
actually, there was
extent.
a song that I associated with another fella more and had to take it off the mix. So the song, that Die Antwoord song that I think you're freaky. The whole chorus is basically, I think you're freaky and I like you a lot. And that phrase, like, I was like, about the guy I was seeing, but that song is from a different part of my life that I associate with a different guy I was seeing. And so even though I put it on the mix for my current guy, when I was like curating the mix and putting it in the proper order, I got to that song and I was like, no, this song doesn't belong here. This isn't for this dude.
Let me ask you this question. How do you, because it's not like a mixtape or a CD, like you create a, do you like create a playlist on Spotify?
Uh-huh.
And make it
tons of them on
private
YouTube.
just for them?
Yeah.
You can share, playlists on YouTube.
And you can put it in
And
whatever
have
order
better
you
ones.
want it so that it's like just like making someone a mixtape, but you have like the entire world of music at your fingertips.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
I found a playlist I made on Spotify when I was drunk, apparently. I didn't know it was there. It's just called Kick Polino in the Dick. And it's just like, here's I feel sad and I want to hurt myself songs. Like I want to emotionally hurt myself. It's such an idiot move.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when I did it, but I'm like, wow, I mean, woo, you were mean to yourself, drunk Mike. Jesus.
Fun fact, that's just what you listen to.
Not all of them back to back, though, you know?
Yeah, you throw some ODB in there sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they introduce me to something, then I definitely totally think of and remember them by that. But like what I'm listening to at the time is, I think I'm too ritualistic with what I do any damn how. Like, I used to just listen to Ghostface Killer before playing shows to get me amped up, certain shit in the morning. And like, it's all just like varying on my mood, regardless of who I'm seeing at the time. But what they play for me, I definitely remember them by. Do mixes
Right,
and
like
shit.
they bring like something new to your...
Okay, so like you've mentioned that you have like a fucking mix. Like
Fuck jams.
I've made quite a few, yeah.
So there aren't certain
was
songs
so
because
matter
of the
of fact.
like fuck jams that like a certain experience with a certain person now makes you think of that person when you hear that song.
No, because like fuck jams can span your whole sexual history, like depending on the type of fuck jam you're making.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel
But
like I'm really
saying,
big
don't-
on
do-
like
don't
fucking
any of
music.
those jams evolve when you like create experiences with certain people to them?
No, yeah. Wait, no, I do have a couple of those. But they're not like, there's a few for sure. Yeah, I'll go with that.
I remember when I was
That definitely spark like specific memories with.
or the first time I went through a breakup in my like early 20s. I was bartending at the time and like met a girl at the bar, and like it was like my first time like being slick at the bar in charm. I was like, oh, I think I got this now. I understand how to do this, right? Met this girl like a bit older than me, like I was probably like 22, whatever, and she was like pushing 30, but like super cool, like professional, like it was cool. And so the first time we hung out, when we go back to her house, like she lights a bunch of candles and puts on Enya, and I'm like, this could not be less sexy to me. But also, I'm like,
Now I'm
is
thinking
this
about
how-
my mom.
I'm like, is this how grown-ups fuck? I don't know if I'm ready for this yet. Like, and then like mood light. I'm like, I don't like. There's a lot of lead up to this, and I'm also nervous anyway because I'm pretty sexually inexperienced because I've been with the same girl since like right after high school.
And then she brought out the ritualistic knife and
Yeah.
started drawing a circle in the ground, and that's when you left.
You're like, I saw like a half a documentary on Sting, and I don't know, is it pronounced tantra? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah, it was fucking awkward.
When I was in high school, I was dating this girl named Skylar, and told my mom I was really sick and had to stay home from school. Fun fact, I wasn't sick.
You Ferris Bueller, you.
What I did was
Sick with
I
lust.
took the day off, right, and then went and got the video camera. Remember the like you put it like, on your shoulder,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Probably SVHS.
Played Boys to Men,
What the fuck?
What was it? It was like what's the song where it's like, throw your clothes
All of them.
on the floor.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna take my clothes off too. And like, dude, I had that shit.
What were you
like,
videotaping?
Me singing that,
Holding
and then
it on
gave
your
it-
shoulder,
Yeah.
like in the mirror?
No, like I set it
On the
up,
tripod.
and and then like I got dressed
Are you
up.
good?
And
Can you
stuff.
sing?
No.
Are you- no, it's that. Like, do you have
I
a copy of
just
this?
sang
Yeah, we need
to
this.
the best of my
Do
ability.
you have
right
a copy
there.
of this fucking tape?
No.
It's gotta
This
be
has to exist somewhere.
But I wonder if I could call Skylar. And I mean, she's like married with kids and stuff now. Be like, hey, remember when
She
we
has it
were
in a box somewhere.
17 and I made you this and
I
like
bet she's got it. That's too weird to throw away, right?
That's
Right?
so good. That's
I
in a
would keep
box.
that forever.
yeah,
It
it's
is in
like
a
one of those
box.
things like in a shoebox that like says like do not open, mom. Like it's still like in her like childhood like on top
I know
of her.
it's in her ex-boyfriend's like box.
Dude, when you make a fucking movie, that should roll at the credits. Should be you singing that shit, that clip.
Dude, like I
dope.
got dressed up and I shot it in my room, and like there were like
You know it was a silk shirt
there
too.
were like a lot of takes.
Oh my God, yes.
Like I had this planned out. Like I took a day off of school because I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna need a solid.
This is gonna get her.
I'm gonna need a
This
full.
is
I'm gonna
gonna do
need a
it.
full day for this shit. Like, from the time I get home from school to the time I go to sleep, that's definitely
You
not gonna be enough
romantic,
time for this
you.
shit. And
Oh God.
yeah, and I made a music video of me singing that Boys to Men song, and then I gave it to her.
It's such an irrational mind, but like my buddy used to say, the only difference between stalkers and romantics is stalkers go to jail and romantics go to bed. Like they use the same
It's the
tactics,
perspective.
and either the chick's into it or she isn't. Like Romeo would have been a stalker if Juliet wasn't feeling him. He followed her around, did creepy fucking
well,
shit, wrote her poetry, whatever the fuck.
Yep.
If she wasn't feeling him, that's a stalker. But
There's
it's
a
the same
fine
mind.
line between romantic
It's
and
like-
creep.
Yeah, well, isn't
As
it
a
just like
burlesque
putting yourself
performer-
out there and taking no for an answer?
Well, and it's also knowing when like not to put yourself out there.
There was an SNL skit a few years ago when Tom Brady hosted like a workplace sexual harassment video, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you are a creep," and then Tom Brady would say the exact same thing. And they'd be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And they're like, "All right, so remember, guys, to make sure you're not sexually harassing a woman in the workplace, 1, be attractive. 2, don't be not attractive." You know, it's like
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, again, like it's just like also knowing. I mean, yeah, that's super funny, and you're right. But what you were saying, it's like knowing, like, oh, that's a no. And I'm reading that you're not interested. Cool, sorry, like, sorry to bother you. You know, like,
Or knowing when like you just shouldn't reach out because you don't actually know this person. They're just a performer you see a lot.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
That's
a
not.
bartender you see a lot.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, like I've done a lot of shows with Lefty and other burlesque dancers. There were several times where like dudes would like hang around after the show. Oh hey, can I smell your hair? And like just like weird.
I don't.
shit.
I
And it's just like,
missed
what
that.
the
They must have been saying that.
No, I know. No, I'm not saying
me.
like I'm not saying like fucking actually can I smell you? But like dudes would like come to shows and like be like by themselves and like just and then like after the show everyone leaves and just like be waiting around and stuff, you know, and it's just like, you know, it's like
It's weird.
yeah, it's a weird thing.
I would do weirdo obsessive shit. I've done that shit. Like not that creepy, but like
Oh, same.
the creepiest one I think I did was when I was 17, living in Arizona. This really attractive girl would walk past my window every day at 3:45. So I'd watch her walk past the window every day at 3:45. It's creepy.
How old you were a
Never
kid
talked
though?
to her. 17.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a kid thing to do. Like that's like
It's a creep show.
We watched John Hughes movies. Like we were trained to like love from a distance.
Especially when you're younger, like there's, I don't know, like there's people who you're like, I'm too terrified to talk to you. You know?
Yeah, that's my adult life too.
Yeah.
Why I don't date much.
I've never been on a Tinder date. I've never met somebody from the internet, whatever, because that stuff like doesn't faze me. Like I have the ability to walk up to a woman and be like, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Colin."
Yeah. No, I mean,
And
yeah.
you know, if they're just like, "Yeah, nice to meet you," whatever, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. You're not interested. Have a wonderful night." And just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, that's the thing. Is like just take no for an
and
answer.
that doesn't
you
like,
know?
that
yeah.
doesn't. Well, it's not like no. There's like what you know. It's like, oh, okay, fine. You know you should move
Yeah.
the fuck on. Like I've I don't have that thing where I'm just like, oh my God, I wish I could talk to that person. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
'Cause
I
it's
just-
like,
I need,
you
like-
do. You just go say hello. There's no like, what's your best line?
Yeah,
like
I don't
it's like-
have a fucking
it's like,
line.
hi,
Lines
my
are
name's
bullshit.
Colin, and I put out my fucking weird hand to shake their fucking hand, and it's like, hey, hi, no,
By weird hand, he means the
Goodbye.
hand with the rhinestone glove on it, by the way.
yeah.
I feel like men will lay stuff on too thick, and you'll be like, dude, obviously she's trying to nicely say to fuck off, so why don't you fuck the fuck off? Whereas, like, women, I'll be like, you should have just fucking said anything, because, like, we're not going to be mad that you were like, oh, hey, my name's fucking Sally, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, since I'm, like, newly in a relationship, right? That, like, a lot of, like, women regulars have been super fucking mean to me and, like, kind of stopped hanging out since, like, I'm, like, publicly in a relationship. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. You could have just been like, yeah, you're pretty cool. Maybe I'd have gone on a date with you or whatever, but you could have just made any indicator. You know, I'm not going to read your fucking mind, you know?
Weird.
I think
It's
it's
super-
bad when your fucking regulars have crushes on you, man. It always turns ugly if you're not feeling it, at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
See, I disagree with that.
there's a nice point. There's a nice period in it, I think. But
I don't
disagree
know.
with
I
that.
had a regular tell me they liked me, and I told them I wasn't interested, and like we're still friends, and they're cool, and they support my shows.
It's like,
I think it's maybe the degree of them being into you. You know what I mean?
Right, well,
and
yes,
the
okay,
weirdness
yeah,
of
yeah.
them not stepping to you is also.
right.
yeah.
Like if they
It's
want to come
weird.
drink at your bar and tip you, and like fill a bar seat, and like be friendly and cool, and like be a person and
Yeah.
hang out, like cool.
Well, I think we're all like industry folk, and I feel like there's lots of times where I've had like friendships where it's like it's a hugely flirty friendship, but nobody's trying to do nothing. It's just like you like to flirt at each other because it's like fun and games. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of part of being behind the bar a little bit, like
Yeah.
being playful.
This is an issue I had with my ex because he was always like, when we'd be in public, if I was at the bar, if I was at a show or something, he wouldn't like be affectionate with me in any way. And he was, you're working. Like, this is how you make your money. Like, don't let people know about your personal life. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. That's not how I burlesque. That's not how I don't give a fuck. And I'm very open about how I live my life. So it's like, that's not what I do and how I roll. And like, he was always very like, no, not in public.
I mean, no,
But,
I
like-
think you have to have a certain level of like self-confidence and security in
Right.
yourself if you're going to date a bartender or any sort of performer. You know what I mean? It's just it's just being a fucking grown-up. You know what I mean?
And self-confidence and alcoholism go hand in hand.
I feel like I've had this conversation with multiple women I've dated where, like, I feel like women are a bit tone deaf with like people, like be it like regulars or like acquaintances or whatever. Where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely in love with you, whatever. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, well, why are you saying? I'm like, because it's fucking obvious. I don't give a shit. Like, he's not being a creep, is he? If he was being a creep, you'd have said something. Like, I don't blame him for having a crush on you. I fucking have a crush on you. So like,
Right.
whatever, man. Just don't be a creep, and then we're cool.
Don't be creep. Words to live by.
Vampire rules, man.
Vampire rules.
Vampire
All people
rules.
should live by vampire rules.
You got to be invited in.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's why I feel like you're saying like what's your best line? I just like, I don't know. That lady's pretty. I don't know if she's a dipshit or not, but like if there's an excuse to talk to her, I'll fucking take it. But no, she's reading a book. I'm gonna leave her the fuck alone.
Right.
Like you don't go to a bar with a book because you want to talk to my stupid ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everyone thinks, oh, what are you reading? Is like why you brought a book. No, motherfucker. No.
No, I've been reading this book for 3 years and I have no free time. Let me
Yeah.
finish it.
Yeah, you brought a book to a bar and are sitting in the fucking very corner of the bar,
Right.
so that someone would come up and be like, "Hey,
This town is
You
a
must
fuck
be
with that,
smart.
though. I mean, because, New York had the theory of this magic hour or whatever when you're in the bar between 2 and 4. If there's single girls there, they usually probably want to hook up with somebody. And here, there's women in bars 24 hours a day, and they don't want to fucking talk to anyone. And, like, they're going to work, they're getting home from work,
Yeah.
they're just chilling the fuck out. And that's fucking a weird adjustment to make, but that's, I think,
Yeah.
just relative to here.
that's an interesting point because the bars here in New Orleans are 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So someone like, it might be 4 a.m. and it's the end of your night, but like it might be the fucking beginning of someone else's, So like, and then you're on completely different.
It's 5 a.m.
wavelengths.
I just got off work and want to have a beer and chill out. I
Right.
dig you've been drinking since 2 in the afternoon yesterday. I don't fucking want to talk to you.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
want
I've been knowing people all day. Yeah. Did any of you guys see the video of the snakes fucking on Facebook this weekend?
And
Oh, it was
don't want to.
mesmerizing. No, it was so mesmerizing because like they look like they're having so much fun. Like the video, it's these two giant, like maybe boa constrictors. I don't know. It's huge fucking snakes, and they're just like wrapped around each other like a carnival or like a barbershop like spinny thingy. They're just like. It's mesmerizing to watch. Like, and I don't like you can't figure out where the sex part's happening, but they're very much having sex and they are having a great time. And like you can't like at first you see like, oh my god, I'm terrified, and then you're like, I can't stop watching this. This is
like
mesmerizing. Just watching them. It's like you guys need to look up the snakes having sex, not giving fucks about the cars. That was like the caption on it. It was like watch these snakes giving no fucks about they're like in the middle of a highway, and they're like cars are like driving around. And they're like. The fuck.
It's romantic.
It is. It was. I was like, wow, those snakes are having a great time. You don't like snakes either?
No, I'm not big on the snakes. Like, I recognize they exist. I have no problem. I just want to be around them.
When like first moved here, I went to like the first joint or one of the first joints that Polino was working at. I walked in and just have a drink, say hello. And they are fucking slammed. Is when you were at RF's, right? Him and the bar manager and like someone didn't show up, and they are slammed to the point where they like it was ridiculous. And Polino goes to the bar manager. He's like, "Yo, dude, my boy Colin used to run my bar. Like, can he jump back here?" And dude was like, "Yep." And he's like, "You want to work?" And I was like, "Sure." So I came in for a beer and like they were just like, "Get the fuck back here and just start fucking working." Polino goes up, this like group of like 4 women. Well, I don't know. What do you think? And he goes, "Ladies, I'm paid to make drinks, not decisions. Let me know when you're ready." And walked away. I laughed so fucking hard. And they were just like, "Oh, I understand." And that's like such a dick thing to say, but it was just like it was like perfect. And I
Thanks,
laughed
buddy.
so fucking hard. And next time he came back, they were just like, "Here's our order." And he's like, "Great." It wasn't like, "Fuck you, I'm not going to serve you." It was like, "Ladies, I'm paid to make drinks, not decisions."
Food, sex, and death.
Thanks for listening to Food, Sex, and Death. I'm Michael Polino. You can find me on Facebook under my fucking name or on Instagram or Twitter at Kino Polino. I've been joined by Colin Bohannon,
Yeah, at Colin Bohannon on all the things. I'm on the road all the time.
burlesque performer Lefty Lucy,
You can go to facebook.com/LeftyLucy Burlesque, or on Instagram, I'm at Lefty Lucy, or follow my festival, the Nerdlesque Festival, at Nerdlesque Fest.
and by The Pooj, musician and all-around just fucking awesome dude.
All that shit on Woven Cup Sorcery or the River Dragon.
Right on. We'll catch you next week, nerds.